you to a new day. I welcome you to Thursday. I welcome you to another exciting edition of From the Newspaper, streaming live from the premises of the AC's Hotel, AKINYEMI, IBADAN. Good morning to you all. You are listening to MFM Radio and TV. This is MFM Radio and TV where we set the agenda and project the truth. And don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM Radio and TV. And as you're watching us, do well to like, comment, and share. And remember, don't forget this program is in form of 3 segments. The first segment is the weather forecast report of 3 major cities in Nigeria: the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the commercial city of Lagos, and the vibrant city of Ibadan, where we are transmitting live from. Where the second segment of the show is the headlines, make round of Nigerian newspaper, and as usual, always bring 4 newspapers to you every morning: the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and the Nigerian Tribune. Where the last segment of the show is the details to the headlines. My name is SHAQEEROH AKINYEMI. Alright, so moving on to the first segment of the show, which is the weather forecast report. And the first city I'll bring on is the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. At 10 a.m. in Abuja this morning is thunderstorms with 24 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. is thunderstorms with 25 degrees Celsius. And 12 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is intermittent cloud with 27 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 4 p.m. is mostly cloudy with storms with 28 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is partly sunny with storms with 27 degrees Celsius. And at 6 p.m. is partly sunny with 26 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. is partly cloudy with 25 degrees Celsius. And at 8 p.m. is partly cloudy with 24 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is partly cloudy with 24 degrees Celsius. And at 10 p.m. is partly cloudy with 23 degrees Celsius. At 11 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 23 degrees Celsius.
Audio Jungle.
At 10 a.m. in the commercial city of Lagos this morning is cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. is cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. At 12 p.m. is cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is showers with 31 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 4 p.m. is cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. And at 6 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. At 8 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 10 p.m. is cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 11 p.m. is cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. City on the first segment, which is the vibrant city of Ibadan. At 10 a.m. in Ibadan this morning is intermittent cloud with 27 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. is intermittent cloud with 28 degrees Celsius. At 12 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is rain with 30 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is showers with 29 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. And at 4 p.m. is cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is showers with 28 degrees Celsius. At 6 p.m. is cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. is cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius. And at 8 p.m. is cloudy with 25 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is cloudy. p.m. is cloudy with 24 degrees Celsius. second segment on the show, which is the headlines make round of Nigerian newspaper. And the first news on this morning is the Punch newspaper. The lead story on the Punch newspaper this morning says, May 29 speech. We are laying foundation for sustainable future, says Tinubu, and page 7 has the analyst to that story. To that story, it says, President lists external reserve growth. Federal government push against bandits among economic security gains. And page 7 has the details to that story. Tinubu at 2 years, and the analyst of the success goes over 900,000 beneficiaries of presidential loan and grant scheme, over 300,000 beneficiaries of students loan scheme, over 100 billion forest debt cleared, over 440 ongoing road projects, including over 2,700 kilometers of superhighways. Another says 3.84% GDP growth in 4 quarters 2024, highest in 3 years. Another one says 70,000 minimum wage payments. Over 13,500 terrorists eliminated, over $50 billion in new FID commitments. Net foreign exchange reserve up from $3.99 billion in 2023 to $23.11 billion in 2024. Over $8 billion in new oil and gas investment unlock, 4 new landmark tax bills, 5 new regional development commission, over $800 million realized in processing investment in solid minerals in 2024. And the details of the news is on Punch newspaper. Punch newspaper this morning says, Tinubu's 2 years reveals fresh political firestorms. In page 7 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Midterm review, manufacturers gaps under energy, credit burden as reform bites. And page 70 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Emefiele appeals final for officials, order 753 housing unit estates. And the details of the news is on Punch newspaper. Midterm, Buhari hails Tinubu, urges Nigerians to moderate expectation. And the details of the news is on Punch newspaper. Arrest would be pilgrims with cocaine. And details of the news is on Punch newspaper. Nimet either partner to boost climate information for full-scale farmers. And the details of the news is on Punch newspaper. Surprise Priscilla Ojo with Range Rover during wedding in Tanzania. And the details of the news is on Punch newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
second year anniversary speech and the details of the news is on Punch newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
PDP crisis, no intimidation will make me deny Wiki, says Hanyawu, and the details of the news is on Punch newspaper. On the Punch newspaper says, I will borrow when absolutely necessary, says Uti, and the details of the news is on Punch newspaper. So moving on to the Vanguard newspaper. The lead story on the Vanguard newspaper says, midterm, security, economic improving under my watch, says Tinubu, and page 3 has the details to that story. Story. The first trainer says, Tinubu must apologize, step aside over failure, says PDP. Another writer says, our government would have done better, says Labour Party. And another writer says, we are on track, says APC. And the last writer says, Tinubu must change his policies, says Onoyekon. And PDP and page 3 has the details to that story. On the Vanguard newspaper says, Tinubu renewed hope, a midterm assignment, unfulfilled promises, or down or renewed hope. In page 19 has the analysis to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Trump vows to aggressively oust Chinese students from US, and the details of the news is on Vanguard newspaper. Let's rise and rebuild our state, says Fubara, and the details of the news is on Vanguard newspaper. Story on the Vanguard newspaper says, about to hold graduation aimed clash with Trump, and the details of the news is on Vanguard newspaper. I made a statement under duress, says Kanu. Court orders trial within trial, and details of the news is on Vanguard newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
Social outcomes of the reform have been devastating, says Muda Yusuf, and the details of the news is on Vanguard newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
Vanguard newspaper says, cartoon, may Nigeria not end up as amusement park, says Amin, and Vanguard has the details to that stories. To the Guardian newspaper, the lead story on the Guardian newspaper says, Tinubu insists economic reform are working, opposition kicks, and page 6 has the details to that story. At 50, Tinubu go on, other 6 stronger ties, shifting alliance security woods. In page 6 how the details to that story.
Audio Jungle. Obi declared lack of strategy to curb insecurity, and page 59 has the details to that story. Audio Jungle.
Federal government defense borrowing plan claims 10 states involved, and the details of the news is on Ghanaian's newspaper. So far, democracy has scored very low for Nigerians, and the details of the news is on the Guardian's newspaper. And the last story on the Guardian newspaper says, Tinubu 2027, a popularity contest for Kalu Uzodinma in Southeast, and the details of the news is on Guardian's newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
So moving on to the last newspaper on the second segment, which is Nigerian Tribune. And the story on Nigerian Tribune says, second anniversary, Tinubu declares economic reform working, and page 12 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
First trader says only alternative to reform was fiscal collapse. Underwriter says reaffirm commitment to security, national development, and the last trader says highlights progress made aimed rising cost of living, and page 12 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Appeal final for feature order on 753 housing unit estate, and page 11 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Alright, so you have come to the end of the second segment. Let's go on a break. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
Ǹjẹ́ ǹjẹ́ ti gbọ́ nípa iléeṣẹ́ àdùnbádùwò iléeṣẹ́ olùfọkàntán iléeṣẹ́ Star Mike Multimedia Concept tó ń jẹ fẹ́gbẹ́ tó gbà wò níbi ká máa ṣe àwọn ohun ẹ̀rù lọ́kànjọ̀kan bíi àwọn ohun amúnúléwu ìgbódùn ń wò bíi frame throw pillow customized workload mọ́ọ̀gì tó ṣe kò tí ì gbóná láti fi jóńgẹ̀ náà wẹ̀yìn towel customized cap t-shirt pen àti àwọn iṣẹ́ printing mìíràn lọ́lọ́kanjọ̀kan iléeṣẹ́ Star Mike Multimedia Concept ló wà ní ojú ọjà Mọ́kọ́lá ní ìlú Ìbàdàn ẹ lè pè wá sórí 08071486599 08131931183 tàbí ẹ kàn sí wọn lójú òpó ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ ti Facebook ọ̀pádùn Samuel lórí Instagram @ostarmike àti lójú òpó X @ostarmike Star Mike Multimedia Concept àgbèrò rẹ̀ ṣíṣe dọwọ́ tiwa.
Fresh, I begin, I be content.
MFM TV oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ ọjọ́ mọ́ mi àtọkùnrin wa àtobìnrin wa ẹ̀lẹ́ o gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin wa ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ o gbogbo ẹ̀yin obìnrin wa ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ o MFM TV oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ o ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin wa ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ o MFM TV oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ oníkẹ́mọ́ wò lórí Instagram lórí Facebook oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ òjẹ̀mọ́ mi ẹ wá wo ìṣẹ̀nú ọ̀pálábá ẹ wá wo rẹ̀ ti ṣe láwùjọ òjò gbogbo ìkànnà gbé wá bẹ̀ gbogbo eré ládùnládùn gbogbo tó lóyún tó bá ronú tó pàrònú tì MFM TV oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ olólùfẹ́ mi ẹ̀yọ́ rẹ̀ wá ọkọ sọ fúnyàwó.
Ìgbà tó tó gbá ní í ṣe baálé ọba gbọ́migbọ́mi kọ̀ǹkọ̀ tó tún kọ̀ǹkọ̀ ní í ṣe ọba wọn lálẹ́ odò bó jẹ́ tìròyìn tó pójú owó orin tó dùn ún gbọ́ létí àṣà ẹ̀fẹ̀ àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí lọ́lọ́kanjọ̀kan ìkànnì MFM rédíò ọba ló jẹ́ láwùjọ rédíò.
AFM radio and television ìkànnì tó jáléjáko ni gbogbo ẹ máa gbọ́ ìròyìn tó kù ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìgbà gbogbo ìránnilétí àṣà àdáyébá ní AMFM ló wà ẹ̀jẹ̀ a máa gbọ́ orúkọ tèmi ní olóyè adírẹ̀mí adídèjì ọlọ́fàáná mọ́ǹtì ọbàjẹ́ ti ìlú Ẹdẹ.
Jungle.
Alright, so welcome back to the show. It's still from the newspaper. Don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM Radio and TV. And as watching us, do well to like, comment and share. We are now in the last segment of From the Newspaper this morning, and the first story says Ogun government slams impatient athletics sport festival protest. The Osun State government has described the protest, which was staged on the athletics presenting them at the 22nd National Sports Festival on Monday, as an act of impatience, as the government has concluded playing to the settled hair allowance. Punch Sports Extra report. Some of the athletes representing the host state expressed their displeasure over the unpaid allowance at the Games Village in the Babcock University, Elishan Remo, blocking the gate of the facility and leaving other participants stranded for hours. The action came 2 days before the end of the multi-sport event, starting their demonstration as early 5:30 a.m. and reopening the gate at 12:43 p.m. after confirming the receipt of some amount of the money. In the wake of the demonstration, the state government said the protest was regrettable as the first all events scheduled for Wednesday expects the marathon to start behind schedule. Special advisor to the governor, Dapo Abiodun, on media and strategy, Kayode Akimade, expressed disappointing, stating that the protest was inconsistent with the value and objective the state upheld. Meanwhile, the athletics confirmed the receipt of 50,000 as promised by the governor, Dapo Abiodun, along with an additional 140,000 as their festival allowance. However, the athletics insisted that the agreed allowance was 210,000, calculated at 15,000 per day over 14 days. The 2024 National Sports Festival will end on Thursday today with a closing ceremony at the MKO Abiola Sports Complex in Abeokuta. It is the second time Osun State has hosted the NSF after their first in 2006. This year, they host a third of the medal table with 53 golds, 44 silver, and 52 bronze medal. And details of the news is on Punch newspaper. Says Trump votes to aggressively revoke Chinese student visas. President Donald Trump administration on Wednesday voted to aggressively revoke visas of Chinese students, one of the largest sources of the revenue for American universities, in the latest broadside against U.S. higher education. The announcement by the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, marked a show of defiance after Chinese criticized his decision a day earlier to suspend visas appointments for students worldwide, at least temporary, related to the students' protest. Young Chinese people have long a crucial to U.S. universities, which rely on international students paying full tuition. China sent 227,398 students in the 2023-2024 academic year, although India, for the first time in years, surpassed it, according to the State Department's back reports for the Institute and Institutional Education. Young Chinese people have long crucial to U.S. universities, which rely international students paying full tuition. China sent 2,203 students. Trump, in the previous term, also took aim to Chinese students but focused attention on those in sensitive field or with explicit link with the military. Chinese Foreign Minister spokeswoman Mao Nang on Wednesday said Beijing urged Washington to safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of international students, including those from China, students who were involved in activism critical of Israel. A capable sign by Rubio on Tuesday, other U.S. embassies and consulates not allowed any additional students or exchange visas. Appointment capacity until further guidance is issued on ramping up screening of applicants, social media accounts, and details of the news is on Punch newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
Tinubu's 2 years reveals still fresh political firestorms as President Bola Tinubu marks 2 years in office today. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the People Democratic Party coalition of United Political Parties and the African Democratic Congress have all condemned the All Progressive Congress-led administration, citing the biting economic hardship. The criticism comes as Nigeria reflects on Tinubu's performance in office while grappling with struggling inflation, high cost of living, unemployment, insecurity, and mounting. The growing chorus on discounts suggests that many are yet to see promise divines. In response, the APC dismissed the opposition criticism as a stemming from resentment over their 2023 election loss, asserting that Tinubu administration has performed above average and that even greater achievements are ahead. On assuming office, Tinubu rolled out various economic policies, including the removal of fuel and electricity subsidies and high cost of living in the country. Its government has also been criticized for failing to curb insecurity and the resurgence of terrorist attacks, which have claimed several lives. Atiku, the 2023 PDP presidential candidate, stated on Wednesday that the united front of opposition parties and the leaders will work to save the country from the APC poor governance. Atiku criticized Tinubu's government for removing the fuel subsidy in the manner he called reckless and insensitive, saying it triggered much of the current economic hardship. He expressed confidence that the coalition movement would defeat the president in 2027 and lead efforts to save Nigeria. In a statement on Wednesday, the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologwon has called Tinubu low in general welfare and the economic, urging that the abrupt hike in petrol price and devaluation of Naira executed by the Tinubu's administration had crippled the productive sector, inflamed high costs, crushed millions of businesses, triggered mass job loss, escalated poverty, hunger hardship, insecurity, and hopelessness across the country. Adebayo and Nigeria's education system is rapidly declining, with quality education now limited to the wealthy and those in power who spend their children abroad. And details of the news on Punch newspaper.
NDLEA arrest would be pilgrims with cocaine. The chairman and chief executive officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, on Wednesday revealed that the arrest of the two individuals who attempt to smuggle cocaine while processing a pilgrims en route to Saudi Arabia for the annual Hajj. Speaking during the opening ceremony of the Internal Ministerial Committee on Drug Control meeting in Abuja, Marwa disclosed that the suspects had ingested illicit drugs, pretending to be devout Muslims embarking on the holy pilgrimage. The NDA boss expressed concern over the distributing trend of criminal network exploiting religious sentiments, especially during Hajj, to thrive Drug International. 2 years ago, 3 women were dumped. Some individuals offered to pay for their tickets and visas among others. Before they left, they were given a small bag to deliver to a supposed relative in Saudi Arabia. Unknown to them, cocaine has been sworn into the lining of the bag, it recounted. Marwa noted that despite funding challenges affecting the full implementation of National Drugs Control Master Plan 2021 to 2025, the agency remains steadfast in its mission. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Prince Lateef Fagbemi-San, who represented by the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Mr. Muhammad Abubakar, expressed hope that the recent amendments of the NDLEA Act by the National Assembly would bolster Nigerian drug control. Efforts once signed by the President Bola Tinubu, and the details of the news is on Punch newspaper. Fubara recommits to peace, pledge to rebuild rivers. The suspended Rivers State Governor, Similayi Fubara, has expressed resolve to continue serving the state, citing the support of the people and a source of strength and motivation to forge ahead. Fubara, although still burdened by the state's recent political turbulence, to lay down their grievances and unite for the collective goals rebuilding Rivers State. Despite the ongoing political challenges, the governor said he remained determined to emerge stronger, more united, and more result-driving. The embattled governor made the declaration in the personally signed statement, marking that would have been a second anniversary of his tenure. Reflecting on political developments over the past 2 years, Fubara emphasized his commitment to the state, while acknowledging critical to achieving transformational growth for the state, as when resident by the hero decision made will prioritize their welfare and the state's enduring prosperity. And details of the news is on Punch newspaper. Says Wiki. As the crisis within the People Democratic Party over the position of National Secretary remain unresolved, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, who maintained that he is still in the PDP National Secretary, stated that no intimidation will make him disown the Minister of Federation Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. In an interview with a journalist in Abuja on Wednesday, Anyanwu questioned what offense he could have committed for Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde and Enugu State Governor to want him removed. Since the 2023 election, the PDP has been mired in the internal conflict, with it intensifying in December 2024, when the Southeast Zonal Caucus and the lower courts recognized former National Youth Leader Sunday Ohudu Okoye as the party's National Secretary. While PDP Governor, the Board Trustees, and the National Working Committee accepted the court ruling, Senator Samuel Anyanwu support by the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, challenging it at the Supreme Court on March 24th. The court only notified Anyanwu removal, ruling the internal party matter are beyond the judiciary jurisdiction. Following the ruling on April 14, PDP Governor requested the Southeast to present a new nominees, resulting in Deputy Secretary Fintoji Kosidu being appointed acting National Secretary. His nomination was ratified by the NWC during the 600th meeting on April 29. Despite this, the dispute over the National Secretary position continued to divide the party's leadership, with many blaming former Rivers State Governor Wike, who who on Sunday withdrew from PDP peace path. Anyanwu questioned the urgency behind some PDP governors' efforts to remove him, especially less than 5 months remaining in his term. And details of the news is on Punch newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
Tinubu says Nigeria on course for prosperity. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Barau Jibrin, has commended President Bola Tinubu's performance on the second anniversary of his administration, declaring that Nigeria is firmly on the path of progress and prosperity. In a statement on Wednesday, signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ismail Mudashir, Barau praised Tinubu for laying a solid foundation to restore the national past glory. Barau expressed optimism about the failure, citing the recent establishment of Development Commission across the country, 6 geopolitical zones, which has believed will support nationwide development. He also praised the administration expansion of access healthcare and education through the creation of several new tertiary institutions. Describing the Nigeria Education Loan Fund as an unprecedented, he noted that over 300,000 students have already benefited. He emphasized that overwhelming support for Tinubu's second term by the APC stakeholders in the reconciliation of his achievements and a mandate to the continued delivering on his progress. Reaffirmed the National Assembly support for the renewed hope agenda. Senator Barau called on Nigerians to remain supportive. And details of the news is on Punch newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
Tinubu urges Nigerians to moderate expectation. A President Bola Tinubu administration meeting necessary reform and desires change, betrayed by the nettlesome domestic politics. Buhari congratulates President Tinubu on his midterm and urged Nigerians to manage their expectation from the government, noting that reforms will be achieved success gradually, not overnight. In a statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant of Media and Publicity, Gabashew, the former president insisted that combating political inflation, problems and acknowledge have hit the poorest families and headaches cannot fall on the government alone. The statement was titled Tinubu's Get Buhari's Praise, Advanced at Midstream. Since taking office on May 29, 2023, Tinubu renewed hope agenda, ended petrol subsidies, liberalized the naira and food crisis at home. On May 23, 2025, the All Progressive Congress officially endorsed Tinubu as its sole 2027 candidate, aimed defection from the opposition. Buhari expressed support for the ongoing effort by the Tinubu administration to curb poverty and inflation, urging that the private sector and all of us citizens must enjoy in a way we can. He advised Nigerians to remain optimistic and says confidence about the country's future, saying the expectation from the government should not get heavy. And details of the news is on Punch newspaper. Alright, so let's go on a short break. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
MFM TV lórí Instagram @MFM TV pẹ̀lú YouTube @MFM TV. Ilé ìtura DS àwọn tó lápẹ́tẹ́ nílùú Ìbàdàn lákàlẹ̀ sí o. Fún ìpolówó ọjà iléeṣẹ́ yín ẹ lè pè wá sórí nọ́mbà wọ̀nyí o. 081591942 àti 47. Ẹ tún lè pè wá sórí aago yìí o. 080224841 pẹ̀lú 24 ni ẹ pè sí o. Mọ́mí àti dádì ẹ̀dọ̀wọ́ MFM ni ẹ mọ̀ gbọ́ lójoojúmọ́ nígbà gbogbo.
ọ̀tọ̀ ni gbogbo ọ̀yà ni ó mọ̀ pera rẹ̀ lódù bó bá jẹ́ níbi tí kábánira mọ́tò láti òkè òkun tàbí ó fẹ́ ra ojúlówó mọ́tò ilé tí ó já lálòpẹ́ iléeṣẹ́ mọ́tò Onabis Automobile òní òye àkànṣí eléyìí tó kalẹ̀ sí kìlómítà 8 Old Ife Road àdójúkọ ilé ìtajà àgbàlódé Brent sọ́ọ̀mì nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn bóyá ẹ̀yin fẹ́ ra mọ́tò tàbí ẹ fẹ́ gbé mọ́tò ránṣẹ́ láti ilẹ̀ òkèrè sórílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà kódà orí ọ̀fẹ́ wà láti bá yín ṣe àmójútó láti bá yín ṣe àyẹ̀wò sí mọ́tò yín iléeṣẹ́ Onabis Automobile òun gẹ́gẹ́ ni mò ń pè níyẹn o ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn ni 0803-371-0636 0803-371-0636 Onabis Automobile boom 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 boom.
So welcome back to the show. It's still from the newspaper. Don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM Radio and TV. And as you're watching us, do well to like, comment, and share. Another story says, NIMET HIDA partners to boost climate information for small-scale farmers. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency and Human and Environmental Development Agenda have signed a memorandum of understanding to improve access to weather and climate information for smallholder farmers across Nigeria. This development was announced in a statement released by NIMET's media team on Wednesday following the signing of the agency's headquarters. The new agreement builds on the collaborative relationship between in 2010 and signal a renewed joint commitment delivering timely, accessible climate data to rural communities. Present at the signing ceremony was Suleiman Arigbadu, Executive Secretary of IDA Resources Central, and Ms. Tonye Dapa, the legal and support and leadership. NIMET boss Anusoke highlighted the role of the partnership in connecting climate science with grassroots action. He also offered NIMET studio facilities for the co-creation of climate education content tailored to farmers. According to the statement, the collaboration aims to expand access to climate information, enhance disaster preparedness, promote sustainable agriculture, and strengthen national resilience to climate impact. And details of the news is on Punch newspaper. Collapse crushes tricycles, injures passengers in Abia. A tragic scene unfolded in Abia State on Wednesday afternoon as a massive advertising billboard collapsed on several tricycles carrying passengers, leaving many injured and some feared death. The incident occurred at the Salad Market Junction near GIA Event Center during a downpour accompanied by the violent winds. Eyewitnesses say the structure came crashing down without warning, pinning down the